featuring it to the principals of our community and see what they say.
And Jan, because you raised it, can I pick on you for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be comfortable, or what would you need to be really comfortable to go to the principals in your community and tell them about this project? Would you be comfortable being the liaison, or would
100%. I meet with them once a month as part of the Educative Council, and I always have an agenda component. And I would, if I had one or two pages, as you demonstrated today, of the program to share with them, and would do my best to replicate what you have, how well you have introduced it. I would do the same thing and find out who would like to come on board. You know, I guess that's for me in this community, that's the best vehicle.
And one of the other logistical questions which came to my mind was about the synagogues and email addresses for families, when perhaps down the road it would come to evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to be a potential problem of an outside group wanting them to answer questions about their use?
Right. I can't speak for other communities, but in our community, nobody gives up their list to anybody.
So
There's no way that I could access. If I have something I want to go out to families in a particular congregation, then that congregation will we'll have to pay them to send it out, but they'll send it out. They would never give us their list, ever.
Or in the way that Fred is talking about doing it, the local synagogues would be the group that would be asked in some way to either provide email information of their congregants for this evaluation. It wouldn't be you.
Right.
Do they do stuff like that?
You know, what you're describing to me, that piece of the process is similar to a presentation that I just did recently with my principals on behalf of jdata.com.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's a worthy endeavor. Also, not interested in surveying the congregants or getting feedback from them any more than they do.
Survey congregants by going through the institution or the congregation. I mean, give them a questionnaire to go out. I mean, we shouldn't let the evaluation come in the way of delivering the product to parents.
Right. If it's user-friendly and short and brief, certainly. If the congregations, buy into this.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it looks like a no-brainer. It's a marvelous piece that you developed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There were a couple of other logistical questions which came to my mind. Fred mentioned a website. He has the beginnings of a website, which hopefully you're seeing now, in which right now, by the way, because Jan, you were talking about how to make a presentation. One of the things that we're doing is we are, of course, taping this webinar so that your other colleagues who unfortunately had technical problems and couldn't get in could see it, or if they weren't available could also see it. But Fred actually on his website put together a 4-minute video explaining the project as well. Mm-hmm. As I scroll down, you will see that there are some random weekly discussion guides.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question we've been talking about is if the central agency is going to be the local conduit for distributing this material weekly, what would be the best way to do it? Would it be just to put it up on this website or another website, send it directly to the congregations, create a listserv for all the congregations that are involved, and send it through the listserv each week? Do you have any ideas about what would work best in your community in terms of the distribution?
It's hard to say. I think that's also a conversation for our local principals. But my guess is that judging how they respond to me, it's best, I mean, we're all a little bit old-fashioned in the sense that it's best to send an email directly to their face and say, today is the day you log on, or here it is and as an attachment, something like that. In other words, reminders, reminders, reminders. But I'm not sure what the medium should be.
Okay.
I just know that our teachers, our principals need reminders if they've committed to something.
And going back to the point that you raised before, we talked about in terms of the role that you would play in the community.
Well, you know what, if they can directly receive the materials, then it doesn't seem necessary. The only thing is that if you want to ensure that the material reaches unaffiliated families, then it might. I saw on your list of Medium a link to the Federation, our website, the Central Agency website.
Right.
For those who aren't affiliated, that's a possible way of getting it out. I'm not sure. I really am at this point, unless I think what we all need to do is survey our communities.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you could see your role in your community as meeting with the principals, getting them excited about this possibility.
Mm-hmm. I would try, certainly. It's terrific.
And then getting them signed up, as it were. But what you would like your role to be potentially is to, as the bureau person, use it for your unaffiliated, in your case, or something else in your community that you, in some ways, we're multitasking the use of the material, and that's really where you can see yourself being even more directly involved after the congregations do their thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, I just want you to know, Jan, that there's a possibility that when you have a meeting like this, if you were interested, I may be able to attend.
Oh, that's we have a very small Jewish community. We're only talking about 6 directors of education that meet, so it may not be, I thank you, but it may not be your worthwhile to do that, unless they say after the initial exposure that they would like training, from the founder, writer, establisher of the curriculum, and that might be good. So that's certainly a possibility. The other thing is, well, these are teachers. We have a Yom Yun in November, a mini cage, if you will, if I can use that expression, cage now. But our target audience are not families; they're teachers. And as you pointed out clearly, that your intention is really to target families. So I'm not sure. However, given the opportunity at our next meeting, which is in September, September 16th, I look forward, if that's okay with you, to talking to them about it.
Oh, it's absolutely okay with us.
So that would be my to-do.